So we're now reaching the first 100 kilometers, now 150 kilometers, 200 kilometers now on the clock. The front is really aggressive. Also, yeah, the rims look a lot nicer with the GT model than with the normal one. Yes, of course, it's not a full Mustang GT, but it cannot get much more than that in an electric car, I would say. So hello everybody, how are you doing? We are starting off in the city in the new Mustang Mach-E GT model. That means all-wheel drive, 490 HP, I think 800 something Newton meters. I will put it down in the description. And yeah, overall a very aggressive exterior design, specifically the front. I really like. Also the color in this yeah, Automann-TV blue, I would even say, is really my taste. And today, as usual, as we did it with many electric cars, there's a Tesla coming, as we're talking a Model 3 Performance actually, which is somehow a competitor, not fully, but maybe a Model Y Performance would be a full competitor. Today we're starting with our fast Autobahn drive test again. That means that we drive the cars like we want them to. It's not that we drive slow just because it's an electric car. We drive, let's say, constant speeds on the Autobahn with cruise control of about 150, 160. Usually also reach top speed once as we're driving home from work or whatever it is, or doing a road trip. And we're testing how good this car, or how good the range of this car will be under those conditions. Of course, it's not a scientific test. It's not the same as we did it with the EQS or as with the iX or the Kia EV6 model. Of course, the test will never be exactly the same, but you get an idea of how, let's say, high the consumption is and how good the range is in the end. Before we do the test, I have to admit that, of course, all the previous cars that we did this test with were doing this test, in winter conditions. That means, yeah, we had 0 to 10 degrees outside temperature. We had a lot of rain, a lot of wind going on. So the conditions were a lot worse for those cars. Today, we have 32 degrees outside temperature. There's almost no wind going on. Also, the battery is 100% charged, so that should mean that we have a lot better result in the end. But it's also interesting for me to see how big is that difference driving an electric car fast on the Autobahn in the winter time with windy and rainy conditions compared to summertime with more or less ideal conditions and of course summer tires. Yeah, without further talking, let's set it off. I will take you with me on that trip, and also we will reach a charger, a fast charger, check how fast the car is charging up then, as we're down to probably something like 10 to 20% state of charge. And yeah, let's just enjoy this nice evening and the Mustang Mach-E GT. So set off here. There's the sound coming from the speakers, obviously. Oh my goodness! Yeah. We did cruise control 160 for quite some time now. As soon as it's free, there will be a 120 sign. The BMW from Sweden doesn't care, but we care. Yeah, of course, since I did already twice the high-speed run and also 100-200 acceleration for our other video, of course the consumption in the first kilometers is a bit higher now, but now after 50 kilometers we still have 86% state of charge. We have an average consumption of about 30 kilowatt hour, which is very high still, of course. Probably dropping a bit, but remember that also the EQS and also the Kia EV6 had a consumption of well above 32 kilowatt hour in the end over the entire trip. So I think this is still okay, and yeah, really looking forward to the next 50 kilometers once we reach 100. So we're now reaching the first 100 kilometers at around 70% state of charge. Yeah, very astonishing how yeah, quiet actually the car is at high speeds. Also rides very smoothly on the flat Autobahn. I will actually do a quick stop to show you a bit of the exterior because the sunlight is just, the evening light is just very nice. Yeah, consumption is around 31 kilowatt hour in that direction. Yeah, and now we're doing 160 kilometers wherever possible. Just a quick stop aside to look at this beautiful car from the outside. The front is really aggressive. Also, yeah, the rims look a lot nicer with the GT model than with the normal one. Brembo brakes behind. Also some nice air curtains here, and yeah, the blue is a really nice color. And also take a look at the rear. Yes, of course, it's not a full Mustang GT, but it cannot get much more than that in an electric car, I would say. Nice slope, and also yeah, nice details here with the rear lights. A big GT badge in the back. Yeah, let's hop in and head further down the Autobahn. Now 150 kilometers at this trip. We have 32 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers consumption, constant speed still of 160. Everything smells and feels very quality-like. This big dash is also nice to read and nice to operate, I would say, even without any, let's say, practice before. Also everything in the center console feels like you wanted to have it, and yeah, noise isolation, and also specifically the steering that keeps the car straight on the Autobahn is very relaxing. I could have a bit more support with the seats at the shoulder height, but in total I would say it's a good driving experience. 200 kilometers now on the clock, about 100 kilometers range left, and 30% state of charge. We are about to reach our charger in about, I would say, 25 kilometers to 30 kilometers, so we're totally fine, and then we'll test how fast the charge is up. Consumption is around 33 kilowatt per hour still, so no change. So let's see what the final result will be at the charging station. Reached 230 kilometers. We have reached our destination. It's already telling us. The charger is right ahead. With 50 kilometers left in the battery, 17% state of charge, and an average consumption of 33 kilowatt hour, which in the end is more or less the same as we did it with the Kia EV6 GT and with the iX and the EQS. So more or less the same percentage was left in the battery. We more or less had the same consumption, above 30 kilowatt hours, and yeah, now we will of course find out how fast it's charging. But I of course have to mention that the other cars did this with yeah, cold outside temperature and windy and rainy conditions, and this car more or less had ideal conditions. Yeah, still interesting that in the end you're somehow getting more or less to the same result. Very nice Mustang animation. I have hooked up the charger, and yeah, first of all, it's charging at the front, which I think is not fully ideal. I think at the back it's a bit nicer. And yeah, we started at 70%, 17%. We're now at 153 kilowatt hours right away of charging speed. Might be even a bit higher. Let's check that in a minute. And we will now get something to eat. And yeah, we're good to go in about 10 to 15 minutes to reach final destination. A bit of a longer phone call later. I'm back at the car, and we now have 64% charged. It dropped a bit to 80 kilowatt charging power. Yeah, after 27 minutes. I honestly expected a bit higher power because it started very quickly up to 50%. Now it's dropping a bit. Maybe you can write in the comments if you have experienced something similar with a Mach-E, because Ionity chargers usually are very reliable. But nevertheless, that's enough for us to get home. Yeah, talk to you soon in the next video.